morning in YouTube land. Let me know if you can hear me, please. Anybody out there? A little help. Good morning in YouTube land. Let me know if you can hear me, please. Alright, I can hear myself, so please no one's participating as usual. I will help. Be back here in a minute.
Risk disclosure statement. There is a risk of loss in trading stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forex, and cryptocurrencies. This risk can be substantial, and therefore investors should carefully consider their financial suitability prior to trading. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. The software, strategies, chat rooms, websites, and any associated websites or digital venues are for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an express or implied promise or guarantee that you will profit or that losses may be limited in any manner whatsoever. Users of the information accept full responsibility for the outcomes of their deployment in Wholesale Trader, LLC, and any associated companies, agents, management, owners, and customers harmless without reservation. Please trade responsibly. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, Rule 4.41, hypothetical and simulated trading performance results have certain inherent limitations, some of which are described herein. No representation is being made that any account holder is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical or simulated performance results and the actual results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally prepared with the benefit of hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading record can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or adhere to a particular trading program in spite of trading losses are material points which can also adversely affect actual trading results. Because these trades have not actually been executed, the hypothetical results may have under or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. There are numerous other factors related to the markets in general or to the implementation of any specific trading program which cannot be fully accounted for in simulated trading or in the preparation of hypothetical performance results and all of which can adversely affect actual trading results.
This trade room and its webinars are not intended to mirror my trades or to give specific trade recommendations. The analysis and setups I share are trades and potential trades that I'm taking for myself based on my personal analysis. The goal of this room is to teach traders how to identify specific areas to trade with an edge for themselves, but ultimately the decision is yours. Trading is extremely risky, and if you do decide to follow my personal trades, you do so at your own risk and can potentially lose your entire account and even more. I'm not always profitable and have routine drawdowns on my trading accounts. The spreadsheet you have access to is my personal spreadsheet that I use to enter zone values and ATR values that help me pinpoint exact prices for my trades. You can see when I enter zone prices into the master spreadsheet as well as the prices to enter trades whether you want to go long or short. You have the ability to copy this spreadsheet and enter in your own values and use mine to confirm zone prices until you're able to draw the zones correctly yourself. The spreadsheet is not telling you which direction to trade as it has entry prices and stop prices for both long and short positions depending on which way you personally decide to trade. Alright, good morning. Alright, so markets are pulling back a little bit after the ridiculousness that was yesterday. NASDAQ has basically, started here, just gapped up, only moved about 400 points yesterday. A lot of weird activity, just blowing through GEX levels, and it was after the CPI number, but I have noticed on days that don't make sense, and you're going to have days in trading that don't make sense, as far as like what I look at, where things are it's just head-scratching activity. I've seen this 3 or 4 times recently where it gives it all back. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if I just have noticed the days that I am just baffled on the activity, it seems to just turn around and give it all back. So, in the meantime, this still looks very bullish. You had failed breakdown of that guy, that did that at first. We did catch the short this day, and then this thing just gapped through everything. So this, these zones, and I'm currently long here, these zones are still going to probably be good long opportunities. If it rips right back through all these, then that's telling you something. But right now, you have to lean thesis-wise long in NASDAQ. A market that is not looking bullish, that I am currently short, based on my strategies and my thesis based on structure, is Russell RTY. So you had that big balance area. Well, first of all, you had this stuff here, broke below there, built more balance here, right? Built more balance yesterday. That was an attempted breakout of this structure. So we had a couple of trading strategies I just put in my room right before all this went down to watch out for this. And I won't go over these trading strategies, but you had current balance breakout through the high volume node, when that's just the area of a balance area where the most trade occurred. The trade we have here is Breaking Bad, it's called, where your first volume event you get through this high volume node, you take the trade aggressively. And then this was also a failed balance breakout of this guy. So I took these trades not too long ago, and I took them double size because my volume event, and this is how I trade, right? So I'm a day trader. I trade both long and shorts depending on my areas. But if I get an event that is in line with what I think is going to happen, which is a thesis, which is just a guess, right? I let the real-time volume tell me, but I'll trade bigger. So this was, and actually I missed a trade here. I should have put on the bark and the lick too. The ATR retest confirmed, but this trade, once it moved out of here, I got short FBB and Breaking Bad, and a pick trade. So we'll go over all these, but just running over real quick what I did. So that was also a break out of this volume event right there. First move out, took it. You know, these pick trades, there's a couple different ways you can trade them. You can take them aggressively, first move out of this market profile composite, and again, these are just days merged, value areas of days merged.
And
value area is 70% of the trade. Or you can wait for the retest. You got both here, but you know, if my thesis is
150 contracts.
Stops and this trade is actually really close to level, so what I'm going to probably hop out of most of these here. So this was an awesome trade. Hopefully my room took this. I put this in not too long ago.
S&P Iceberg by ES. 704 contracts.
That's exactly what I said.
Russell stocks LRT.
All right.
210 contracts.
So we're real close, right at the slug. I'm going to get out of these right now. This is a great trade, pretty quick. Very little torture, which is very rare lately. As far as the torture factor, I got to get out of these, and I have a potential long here, right? I'm sure. I just got done talking about. I'm bearish the market, but you know, if I get a volume event that's bullish in my area, I'll turn around and flip long. All right, so I am out at the lug, but these are Ludwig levels. The second most powerful thing I've ever seen in my trading career, next to the SI events, Stop Iceberg events. And we have an event here. So this is an important area. I don't just jump in most of my trades. I just don't jump in when I hear a volume event. I need confirmation out of the area, and it's just from watching so many of these. It's the best way to trade them, in my opinion. All right, so we have a volume event. You just heard the stops right there. These are threshold stops.
EW disqualified.
Meaning these were, I have thresholds for each market that are important enough volume that it's a tradable amount that there should be a good reaction off of it. So you had stop runs into the lug. If this pops out of here, I will take a slug long. And what I'm referring to here are all my trading strategies. So if you come in my room, you're part of my trade room, you get access to these, and I go over these every day. So these are the positional trading strategies. So this is the trade that I'm about to take potentially. These were the trades that I took earlier. On the short side, failed balance breakout. In that case, I just showed that. A Breaking Bad, I just showed that. And I took a pick, showed that. Right? Break market profile composite. So these are my important areas that I look for volume events, and that's what the trading strategies are. You know, traders have their own areas, obviously, that you deem important. Perfectly fine. It's not for me to say whether your areas are important or not. What I am telling you is if you demand these volume events, real-time action at your areas to confirm them, they're going to be even better. It's not just guessing if the area is going to hold. You get real-time volume telling you it's going to hold. Let me make sure everyone can hear me too, because every week I get on this Discord, no one can hear me. If you guys can't hear me in Discord or some issue with Discord, put it in the YouTube, please. Chat box. In the meantime, you know, Algo Guy is bearish here, so this is my filter for a couple other strategies, Barks and Licks, which I, again, forgot to put on earlier in Russell. If this does bust through the lug, then I will put those shorts on. But I got, you know, these are my rules. I usually get out of my full position. I'll get out of some in important areas. I did get out of some here when it came down to there. This is the bottom of this massive one. And then I got out of the rest at the lug. Doesn't mean it can't blow through and build new lugs, but this is how I trade because I know how powerful these are. I'll show you one from earlier. This was overnight, but it did bounce. Probably new lugs now, but...
NQ short validated.
Right, so
Russell Iceberg sell RT. 150 contracts.
Right, so that's enough Russell for right now.
NQ disqualified.
Most of you guys trade NASDAQ and ES, so I will focus on that. But I will take a long there as long as this Russell event doesn't turn bearish. I'm going to take a long. If it turns bearish, then I have strategies for that. Now you have sell ice here too. So we'll keep an eye on that. So I was long NQ Izzy. So this earlier was an event in the zone. Again, I feel like these I just got done saying the days that I've seen these ridiculous moves like this that didn't make sense as far as like not responding to areas, so on and so forth. I've just noticed it gives it all back. So heads up for that. But anyway, knowing that, I still took a long into this zone when it presented itself. And that was this event. It was pre-market, but I took it. I did get out, actually. This is a variation of exits. So my normal entries are an ATR outside of the volume event. I forced the market to get out of there. That's where I went long here, right? And then the stop is on the other side, an ATR outside of an ATR. That is to help
According
avoid
to
Algo
Xinhua,
City.
analysts see
best I
China
can,
fiscal
right?
deficit ratio
So
to rise to
we
4
do
to
have a
5%.
variation of an exit. This is more advanced. But if the market keeps tagging the ATR, tagging the ATR, tagging the ATR, tagging the ATR, and it can't go, we have an exit where you can get out right when it breaks the zone versus waiting for all the way down here. So I did do that on that initial long. Now we have an event that is bearish. All right, tag the ATR. Now there's trades I can put on here potentially. One, bark and lick. Algo guy is bearish. This is my filter for the bark and lick trade. And all the bark and lick trades are blind ATR retest confirm trades, because there's an inherent edge in the volume event as it is. And we'll talk about some of the tips and tricks stuff with the market pulse and everything else. That's what this webinar is supposed to be. I thought Bruce was going to be on. He's usually on with the Pro Trader webinar series, but I guess I'm not important enough for him to hop on. Just kidding. Anyway, liquidity trade, bark is blind ATR retest confirmed. So if you just trade, I did this for a month back. It wasn't last December, it was December before, but I did this where I just had, no matter what event happened, wherever it happened, right? I didn't care wherever it happened. I would wait for the ATR retest, confirm, and get in that direction, no matter what. And it was profitable. I think it was like up like 13 grand on trading one lots for that month. But the point is, the edge is inherent in the volume event, right? It's even better when you can put these volume events in important areas, like your important areas or my important areas, but the edge is inherent in there. That's why I'm willing to take the bark trade as long as I got Algo Guy. And Algo Guy, that's just a nickname for this exponential moving average. So these bark and licks just tend to work better when you're in the direction of Algo Guy. So that's all I'm doing with that trade as far as a filter. All right, so this is not retested yet. I don't really have any shorts. Well, let's see. Where I get in aggressively here, or I would definitely take it because I love when the markets sell off. I love when these longs get their asses handed to them. It didn't really happen yesterday, but they're not feeling real hot today, which I enjoy. Anyway, there's nothing for me to short aggressively here, meaning first move out of this volume event, right? So I will just sit back and wait patiently for the ATR retest confirm, and I will put that on. The odds of this coming back to this zone after tagging the ATR are ridiculously high. We actually have a trade for that activity. That's more of a scalp. So we have some new trades here, and you can see this is one of them. Actually, this is a trade we call back in black. We have these reversion trades. So you see these dotted lines. All they are is our ATR in front of the ATRs, the 1 ATR, the 2 ATR, the 3 ATR. So you can take these areas when it hits these areas to come back to the zone. Well, we have a new trade in here called back in black, where you wait for it to hit an important area. I just got done talking about some of my important areas. Well, these Mether Q levels and spot gamma levels are important areas too. So you can wait for it to tag one just like this did. And as it comes back to these ATRs, put the trade on. And then this dashed dotted line are the stop runs, right? So, I mean, not stop runs, the stop out, right? So if I say I put on this back in black, so I'm waiting for it to hit something important. It did hit GEX5, and so it's right around these two levels. As it comes back into the 1 ATR, I can take the long, and then my stop for the 1 ATR is down here, this dash dotted. So this is obviously going to, I hate to say obvious, but it's going to work because I didn't put it on, because that's my life story. It just seems like every trade that I miss is an instant winner. I know that's in my head, but when you watch 5 million of them, it gets a little old after, every one you don't put on works, but it feels like anyway. Get this stuff off here. So anyway, I'm waiting for an ATR retest. I didn't put on the back in black, so what I'm referring to there are these, and we have a bunch of new strategies that we're taking too.
Retested.
And we may put on some sexy Gexies. Those are auto trades at these Gex levels. So these are the newest ones here. So we got Sexy Gexy. Take any fade trade into a spot gamma or Menther Q level. Gamma level, we'll talk about these. Trade is taken immediately when an opposing event fires off. So I just got done talking about these trades, and look at that. Well, I can't believe that one worked. Shocking. Right back to the zone. Didn't take it. The reversion trades are hard for me to take in these webinars. They're very quick. A lot of them, like this one was, and I just didn't get this on. Anyway, this is the retest I was waiting for. If it comes back, I will put on market like shorts. If it doesn't, then I'm not doing anything off this event. Why didn't I hear that stop run fire off? And you got stops here too, by the way. Buy stops coming back. So more weird activity. Like yesterday was just bizarro world as far as like there was sell stops, buy stops, sell stops, sell ice, buy ice. It was all in the same area. And another rule of thumb too, we have thresholds for these markets, right? So threshold meaning tradable volume for these events, and we'll go over this market pull stuff too. But tradable events is 150 for NASDAQ, right? So, but on certain days, 150 is not a lot. So yesterday was an example of that. So if you keep seeing like 400, 300, 500, 400, don't use 150 as your threshold for that day, or at least for the morning, right? Up your threshold, meaning this is the zone drawing tool. I'll get into that too. These are set for 150. There is a function in there where you can change the volume, to make it draw when you see higher volume. But these are going to draw at 150. It doesn't mean you have to trade them, especially if you keep seeing huge volume coming through the market, right? So yesterday was a good example of that. All right, so here's the attempted bungee jump. But you notice I didn't put on any shorts off of this. This did prove as a bearish event, but I need to see the pattern to go short there. So I did not take that trade. I didn't take any short there. I am still short Russell. I got out of, actually, no, I'm not. Sorry. I got out of those at the lug, but I will take these longs.
At 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we get our weekly EIA natural gas change.
Start
Forecast a
refilling
draw
that.
of 172 BCF on the prior draw of
Supposed to have a
30
slug working. I guess
BCF.
I forgot to put that in, of course. So that, remember, I was going to take a long off of this guy, and I could have taken it off that guy. So first and foremost, this is what I'm talking about. Unless this built new lugs, I don't
Prior
think it did.
RTY long validated.
So I missed this trade. I just forgot to put the order in. That's just not. It's just what I do. You can see this is why I use these levels. They're insanity, right? I got out of my short, and I was actually supposed to take the long there, and I just forgot to put the order in. So that sucks because I was supposed to be long. I'm supposed to be long right here. So if it comes back, I'll put it on. So my rule of thumb too, if I miss a trade, one, I don't chase, right? Because there's another event right around the corner. But as long as it doesn't tag an area that I would have already been getting out of some, I'll still put the trade on. So if this is where my original entry was for that, 2381, and I probably got to put on 10 of them. So if that comes back there, I'll put this slug on that I missed. That was just an error on my part. That is number 126. That sucks, but if it comes back, I'll put that on. Again, if this keeps ripping up and it starts tagging areas that I would have got out of something, I'm not going to put it on if it comes back, right? I'm not seeing anything here. You do want to watch this market profile composite. That's where I got out of some earlier. And if it tags that, it's real close. And you got baby lug here, and you got daily value area low. So this is pretty close. So I'm not going to put this on if it comes back because I'd be getting out of some right here, right? This is would already have been a 40-50 tick trade for me. So I'm not going to put it on now, but I missed it. I was supposed to be in there. Actually, that's only 08. Now it's a 40 tick trade, but I missed it. So that's what happens. When I'm doing these webinars, I'm trying to cover all these different markets, and I make mistakes and on and stop. So missed that trade. Hopefully you guys got in there because I did talk about it.
ES long validated.
All right,
NQ
I forgot
stop by NQ 150 for contracts. Prior NQ disqualified.
That was just an error. I forgot to pull an order earlier on NASDAQ. All right, let's look at ADS real quick. And then we'll go over some of the tips and tricks of using Market Pulse and some of this other stuff. What happened to ES? There you go. So let me guess, this was a Sexy Gexy trade. Sure was. So this is another missed trade. This is the trade, right? This is the auto entry trade. So the market came down, and you can see spot gamma levels here. Put wall. You can see Menther Q levels. I just did a webinar with them the other day. I posted. It's on my It's on my website too. I posted it on there. But go to my Twitter page. I posted the webinar recording. I thought it was a very good webinar. We caught some nice winners off of that. But this is the trade right here. I just missed this too. So market comes down, and it's even better when you get multiple levels, right? You got these and you got that, related obviously. But when you get, the dealers are going to be hedging in this area, right? The dealers are not the only entity in the market. Most of the time they are. Most of the time, 80% of the time it's dealers and algos. 20% of the time it's big money. So when the big money's in here, you want to be careful. How do you recognize that? Well, the best way is relative volume or the footprint. We'll look at that. I don't think this was heavy relative volume. I'll show that in a second. But the point is, you already know dealers are going to be hedging at these areas. And then you get an event in the direction, meaning this was buy ice. So not only are dealers buying here, right? Then you have the big money buying here too. Could this be the dealers too? Yeah, but not usually, right? So because it costs more to put these orders in too. So icebergs. So usually dealers are just going in the market with their hedges. So the point is you have the volume event at an important area. The only difference in this is I will hop in this trade right when I hear it fire off. This is the auto trade, and it's a great risk reward trade, right? Because most of them, like right now, I actually should probably be long another strategy here. Let me look real quick before this runs away too. Let's be so this was an Izzy trade, right? This is an Izzy trade, so I can go long Izzy. Here's a volume event in my important area. This is my inflection zone. That's number one. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see how many trades I can miss today on this webinar. Nothing for a pick. Nothing for a lug. So I can't be long Izzy here. So I'm going to put that on. I should have been long at 77 quarter. That's the great thing about the zone drawing tool. It tells you the entry, your stop. That's the yellow lines. And then it tells you how much you can put on
At
based on your account size
10:30
and what you
a.m.
want to
Eastern
risk per
Time, we
trade.
get our weekly
So I'll put on
EIA
9
natural
Izzy's
gas
right now,
change
long.
forecast, a draw of 172 BCF on the prior draw of 30 BCF.
All right. Again, I had to chase it because there's a camera in my office and I hear everything.
NQ stocks
Everything I'm going to do. So I started talking about it and it ran up a
167
point. So I
contracts.
chased it a little bit there. I'm kidding about the camera, but not really, because that's what it feels like for the last 30 years. All right, so we're long Izzy. And what we're going to do here too, to show some tips and tricks, we're going to use the market pulse. One, you can use the price change to, if you want to. We're going to watch how this works, and it's unbelievable. Like you can already see it here, right? So you get the spike, the price change algo. This is on market pulse reaction. So this one kept going, and it can keep going, and then it finally we're letting it go. Again, 80% of the time, you can literally trade. If you really want to scalp like quick, you're going against algos here, but you can trade these every time the thing spikes. You can jump in and then flip it. It's great when it works until it doesn't work. Meaning this single price change, and then big money comes in and it can price change for 30 points.
Prior
Right? So
NQ long
just
validated.
be cognizant of the fact that the trade works nonstop, but then big money comes in and it can price change forever, right? So hold on, what we're gonna do here. I want to get this up because we're gonna try to add to this trade potentially if we get the volume pressure imbalance. So these are tips and tricks. So for instance, say I got long there and you guys, so many people just want to get out of some other trade, right? I get out at my important areas, but you could watch that, especially if it's a new area that you're watching, and say, okay, here's a price change. I'll go, I'm going to get out of a couple here. I'm going to wait for it to snap back. I'm going to wait for an opposing price change, and then I'm going to get back in, right? That's fine. I cannot do that. I can't do it anymore anyway. My brain, I'm just too old to be in and out, in and out, in and out. I used to be one of the biggest scalpers on the planet. I can't do it anymore. One, you can't make money anymore doing it, as far as I'm concerned, is just watching the order book because the algos. Two, it's just, I'm watching so many markets. I can't sit here and watch every time the thing price changes. But it's a good example. You could have hopped out of some of there just because of the price change algo. And then what you could do, either just wait for the blip and put back some on, or put some back on, I should say, or wait for an opposing one and then put it back on. And then you can kind of scalp around your position for those of you that love to scalp.
Contracts.
Okay, there's a lot of stuff firing off and I'm not. Any questions? Throw them in the book or YouTube channel, please, because that's the only thing I see right now. All right, so 1 once again, bizarro world, and it's not bizarro world. There's a lot of buy stops here, so obviously whoever was short on this move tried to press it and puke, puke, puke. All right, so let's see if this is an area that I could potentially go short. This is already a sexy Gexy that I missed. So this is put support. Actually, I'm going to put this on. I don't usually put these on the webinars because I can't keep up with them. But this one, I already missed one in ES. I'm going to give this a second.
Order filled.
All right, so I put that on. So the great thing about these, again, you enter. I should have already been in. I just didn't hear it, right? You enter right when you hear the event, but your stop goes in the traditional area, right? So for position trades here, we'll look and see what I have got going here potentially. I'm not getting in until it touches this price. The sexy Gexy, you can get in right away. All right, hold on. I may just hop out of this because I'm just so happy to have a damn winner. I got run over on these yesterday. You got to be careful when you see heavy relative
1 minute
volume.
remaining.
We got a number here too. Oh no, that's natural gas. All right, so this is a reason why I just couldn't get over here quick enough. When the market moves into prior events, it's probably want to cover some of them, no matter what trade you have on. I didn't do it, and of course, pops right back up, 10 points. All right, so I'm going to still hold this. My rule of thumb with the sexy Gexy here, this is a new trade, still work in progress, but it's such a powerful trade, I'm willing to put it out there for my room and the public, right? So when you watch these webinars, this is going to really upset me if I didn't get out of this, by the way, down here in this zone. But the rule of thumb is, barring something, a prior event right there, I'll put on multiple contracts because my risk level is so much lower, and then I will wait for the ATR move out to
10
get out of one of them
seconds.
because you're usually gonna get the dealer reaction, and you got it.
Stock sell HG.
But I'm trying to get the
110
ATR, and then
contracts.
because there's a volume event there, I'm trying for the other half for a bigger move. But the point is, this trade is a great risk
Draw
reward trade.
190 BCF. Draw
Because you're getting right in the
190
middle of the zone.
BCF. That's
All right,
lower
so I
than
gotta
the
put this
expected
stop
draw
in.
of
It's just I'm very
172
upset. I finally had a
BCF.
winning trade on these sexy Gexys from the last 2 days, and I missed partial exit there. But all right, that's working.
Seeing some
As
strength
far as
in
traditional
natural gas.
areas to go short, if this is a bearish event, and I don't know what it is yet. And I can't believe it put in a bungee jump buying tail. That's weird for these equity markets. Not. Anyway, this is back into the zone. I will take an Izzy short if this proves to be a bearish event. One. As far as barks and licks, I can't. The algo guys just pull.
Silver stop sell SI 166 contracts.
So I can only put on barks and licks to the long side. And let's see what else we got. Nothing pick-wise. This is yesterday's value area low, but I don't trade single days. I just do composites, meaning multiple days merged. It doesn't mean it's not an important area. It's just not as strong as a composite, and that's what these blue areas are, rectangles. And I got nothing on lugs, so there's no short to be had other than the Izzy short if this comes out. So with my other strategies, 95% of the strategies, I wait for the move out, and this is why, because it's hard to judge right when the thing fires off. So I'm going to wait for this to come back, hopefully, because I still have Sexy Gexy short on, because I didn't get out there. I don't know if I mentioned that. But I will put on a Izzy short at 21,671.75. And while I'm being annoyed with NASDAQ, and it's been
US
really
National
annoying the last 2
Security
days,
Advisor Sullivan
let's throw
says,
up tick
meeting with
strikes so we can
Israeli
listen
PM
to the
Netanyahu,
losing
I got the
Sexy
sense
Gexy
that he
as
is
we
ready
watch it
for a
happen.
deal.
And like I said, this is where I like, for me personally as a trader, and I've been doing this 25 years, this is where I like spiral mentally, and this is why I'm glad I'm on webinars, because this is where I start getting really upset, right? So I missed this trade, I missed this long, right, off the page. Then I should have got out of one of my Sexy Gexys in this prior event. I missed that immediately up, and now it's probably going to stop me out, right? So this is just a good example of how you have to know your tendencies and know when you start to go on tilt mentally, right? So this has been happening a lot to me lately, and it happens on webinars because I'm showing so many things, and it's fine. It's just, that's part of it. I understand that, but it just gets really annoying on every single time I make a mistake. It just seems like I pay for it dearly.
Iceberg
So
sell NG 150.
this is one of the reasons I like doing webinars, though, because if I'm sitting here by myself, I'm not a good loser, and I lose my mind. So at least I'm on the webinar. But Just so you guys
Nat
know,
gas
I'm
ice
human,
ice
just like
Excel
any other
NG,
trader. You just have to know. The good
165
thing about it, though,
contracts.
I am long ES here, by the way. We already talked about this trade. The good thing about it is I can catch myself nowadays, right? Like in my younger years, when I was, just starting to
short
trade,
validated.
like in late 20s, I would not catch myself and I would go on tilt and like lose hundreds of thousands of dollars in seconds and break screens and everything else. So I do bitch a lot when I trade on the webinars, especially, and I do that because that's my mechanism for getting it out, right? You do not want to keep your emotions inside and act like things don't bother you. If they bother you, do whatever you need to do to get it out. Get it out and on to the next
NP
trade.
long validated.
Don't bottle them up because you will end up going postal eventually if you bottle them up. So if you hear me bitching during a webinar, don't think I'm some rookie, no dumb cookie, said the fridge. Anyone from Chicago knows that quote. Anyway, it's just because that's how I deal with the constant. And when you're trading all these markets, you're going to have nonstop ridiculousness, right? So that's how I deal with it. Anyway, I'm long ES here. I did get this one on, unlike Russell. So I'm going to watch some areas where I'll pop out of these. And this is an area actually that I can get out of a couple of these because if it starts to fail. This is back into this market profile composite. You got baby lug and extreme standard deviation in VWAP. So if this starts to fail out of here, and you can see this price change, so I'm going to get out of a couple. I'm going to do exactly what I was telling you guys to do. I got 9 on. I'm going to put on, or get out of 3 here. Hold on. All right, so I got out of 3. So that was okay trade. I got in at 77, and that was almost a 7-point trade, right? And here's your price change algo, by the way. So you can imagine the power. I just showed you every time this thing, not every time, but almost every time, unless the big money's coming in here. Every time you get this price change, the market reacts. Well, you can imagine when it hits an area that you're looking at and you get price change, you're like, I'm out. Doesn't mean you can't get back in, but there's a perfect example of that. All right, should I get out of this? Here, if you guys are sure, I'm going to get out of this just because I said I would get out of here. And that's also I sacrifice for the team. So if you or if anyone watching this or my trade room took this sexy Gexy, now this thing is going to literally die by probably 50 points. But I can't monitor it, so I only had one big one on. That's where I was bitching. I should have got out the first time, so I am out of the sexy Gexy. Again, I should have multiple contracts on, and I should be waiting for this ATR. These are my rules right now. This is a trade in development, like I said, but the best way is take one off right away when you get the dealer reaction, and then I will let one run because this is a volume event. Other than that, I do have I'm going to take this Izzy short. I don't think I put that in. Hold on. As I know I'm talking fast, and I know I'm going over a lot of strategies. I'm trading live markets, so you got to bear with me. If you've got questions, just throw them in the chat, and I will answer them the best I can. All right, so if that comes back, I got out of my sexy Gexy. Once again, it bounced off this prior event. But if it moves out of here, this is my traditional entry. I wait for that for a reason. So that is working. I have nothing on in NASDAQ right now and got out of my sexy Gexy. I'm just tickled. I finally had a profit after the last 2 days. So what I was trying to explain in my room yesterday too, there's going to be days that they just don't make sense. Like, especially the more market action you watch in your career, the more you're like, oh, this can't keep continuing, or this is ridiculous. This has got to pull back. There's some days, no, it doesn't have to pull back, right? Yesterday was one of them. And I just did the Method Q webinar the day before. Go watch it. It's on my YouTube. It's on their YouTube too. I mean, it's on my Twitter. But they're all working perfectly. Like I put on 2 or 3 on that webinar, and they were just perfect. Yesterday, every level just blew right through. It was because it was CPI, it was heavy relative volume, so you got to pay attention to that heavy footprint stuff. But the point is, some days are just not going to make sense. That's why you stop yourself. You have your rules where you start, and my recommendation is 5 to 6 max % of your trading account. Then you just say, Uncle, I don't know what's going on today. Or you just stop looking at that particular market. That's the beauty of everything, of these volume events in futures. It doesn't matter what futures market you're looking at. They have the same tendencies. Why? Because you're just looking at loaded up areas of volume where traders are caught. That's what we're taking advantage of in important areas, right? So this is like wheat. See what else we got. You had some sell ice right here in soybeans. So
Prior
I
and
can't
Q1
cover all
entered.
these right now. Well, I'll try to get back here if nothing's going on. Here comes the torture treatment with tick strike, by the way. So Market Pulse is like tick strike on steroids, right? I still use tick strike. I've used this for 14 years because I like to hear what stuff that's going on that I'm not aware of, but it is definitely a torture treatment. If you are in a trade, you get to watch it go against you, and you get to listen to it. It's not fun. So, but I still love it. But it also doesn't give me historical stuff like Bookmap does, right? So I can go back, and they built Market Pulse for
Yes,
me
short
at my
validated.
request a couple years ago. But they've taken it and run with all these different algos. But all I wanted to see originally on this Market Pulse was the volume, pressure, and balance algo. Where's that? Right here. That's this guy, VPI, right? So that's all I wanted to see at the time, and it's just showing me the biggest buying or selling in the last hour. I set it to an hour, so I'll just take some of these off just so you can see what I'm talking about here. Take off the, and I can't wait, so hopefully Vadim is listening here. He's the head developer at Bookmap. They said they're going to get different tabs here, so you can toggle, because it's a huge
U.S.
pain
National Security Advisor Sullivan says
to
Hamas's
have everything
posture
on
at
the
the
subchart, right? You got
negotiation
stops,
table has
icebergs,
changed after the Lebanon ceasefire.
volume, pressure, and balance, price change. I just took some off, and it still looks ridiculous. So they say they're going to have tabs where I can see VPI, I can have stops and SI events, I can have price change, right? So you can just toggle in between these tabs instead of having everything on one chart. So Vadim, if you're listening, help, please get that for us. Anyway, I want to take this stuff off. All right, so that's what price change looks like, right? So this is telling you something right here. You see this heavy selling came in. This was the most selling in the last hour. You had one here that actually held and moved lower. Then you had one here, and this one ran into huge buy ice, right? So there's a pattern for these two that we trade where you can, so say I was short, right? Say I'm short from up here.
Copper ice iceberg sell HT.
And I get this first one.
150 contracts.
I have a method for these. It's not a method because it happens almost every time. When the market moves away from the area, retests it, and makes the lower low, you can add. So I could have added there, right? And we're going to do this live, hopefully, with this trade if we get one on ES, because I am still long ES. And then you had one here. Well, this one did the exact opposite. It is telling you something. If this is the most selling in the last hour, and the market doesn't respond, it's just common sense, right? Say you're this entity, and you unload here, and you want, just pretend the icebergs aren't even there, right? Just this alone, you see the huge sell bubbles, sell bubble, big sell bubble. This is based on delta, by the way. I have mine set for delta, meaning buy versus sell. Anyway, and you can see the sweeps. Somebody was in here sweeping this, trying to push this thing lower. It barely budged, right? And then this is the pattern. It will move away. It will retest. I don't know if that was a full retest there. Let's see. It's pretty close. Let's see here. But this is the usual pattern. I don't know if this got down here or not. Some of them don't retest, but most of them do, right? So you want to see, so I'd say
retested.
This moved away. Actually, it moved away. Well, it made a lower low, though. So you don't do anything until it makes the second high or the second low, right? Meaning, here is the selling on the market pulse, right? This is volume, pressure, balance set to an hour. Oh, this one you could have added. You could have went right there. But if you're, if they're fleeting, so when they're wrong, it's just like any other trade. You get out when it does that. But on this one, I could have, if it did retest, and this isn't a great example because I don't think it got all the way down here. But if it comes back down and then the next high, you can add to the trade. But the point is, even if you're not putting in a trade on these, it gives you information. They were selling this. First of all, they were selling it, and the market barely went lower, and then it did that. And you're like, okay, these sellers are screwed. And then you say, oh, wait, not only were they selling, now big money came in here and had their hidden orders as icebergs in here, and they absorbed their selling too. And whoever was selling here, as I like to say, got a mouthful of buy ice. And how would you feel if you were this entity selling and it runs away, right? So this one, actually, I would have, if I was short, I would have added to this too. You saw the first one work, the second one didn't, because it did move away, it did retest. The next low, I would have taken it, and I just put my stop over there. Again, this is just an ad. This is advanced. This is not, if you don't understand the iceberg stuff, don't be trading the market pulse the way I'm talking about it, right? But the point is, this one would have lost. The first one would have won. This one would have lost. Just like anything, your percentages, anything you have an edge, and this is an edge, you put them enough on, you will make money. Or when you add to it, so on and so forth.
contracts.
What I'm trying to get at, though, you had information here that told you sellers were aggressive, and you had buy ice. Let me put this stuff back on, by the way, and there's stuff firing off all over the place. So I'll be back here. Where is it? Icebergs, stops, price change. All right, so anyway, they were selling there, and they ran into almost 1,400 buy ice. Boom, and we went long off of this event, right? So the point is, it gives you information, and you can trade it too and add to it. If I get one here, and I already got out of some, and you have another, this is a spot gamma level too. This almost made it up to this method Q level. But I got out of some, I got out of 3.
Prior
We're going to watch this. Once again, you see the price change algo just running the show because nothing's going on. Spike. Reaction. Spike. Little guy. Spike. Bigger guy. Here we go. So if you were, say, here, we'll just do this. We'll just give this a try here. Because I did get out of some up here. Now I'm getting price change. I'm gonna hop back in on those 3. I don't usually do it off price change. I do it off of volume, pressure, and balance, because this stuff is so fleeting, right? But this is an example of what I'm trying. This webinar is supposed to be about tips and tricks, right? So I'm trading around my position, my long position. I got out because this was areas we just talked about, and you were getting the price change algo, right? And I said, well, you can put them on when you get an opposing price change algo. Put them back on. So I put them back on this price change algo. Just remember, the price change algo works until it doesn't. If big money comes in, this thing could price change for 50 points, right? So just be cognizant. That's why I don't usually scalp around this. I will watch it at important areas and say, hey, there's a price change. Okay, I'm going to get out of some. So I just jump back in those. We'll see how that works out. But I usually only add with the volume, pressure, and balance. So we will watch for that. And you can turn this on too. We'll turn on the sound so you know. I'm not going to turn on the price change sound because I'll lose my mind on everything else that's going on, all the other sounds like tick strike. But you can add both so you know when it's price changing if you're not watching it. All right, so that I do have volume, pressure, and balance volume on, so we will know when that spikes. Let's see what's going on here in Mr. NASDAQ. I think we got. So again, you hear everything firing off. I hear it. I have no idea what fired off. So you want to bring up this. Oh, by the way, this was another mistrade. Awesome. This was back in black, it looks like. No, it wasn't. Why did it say? Oh, it's counting this retest. So we have a trade for this too. I don't mean to be jumping all over the place here, but the propensity for these markets is called a reversion trade. So there is something in here for every type of trader for what I'm doing. We have position trading, where you're looking for bigger moves. We have the reversion trade, which is more of a scalp, where you're looking for moves back to the volume event. And this one's well on its way back, right? And then we have the R trader trade, because people hate waiting for the move out of there. They're like, oh, my risk reward is crushed when I wait for the move out and I had to put it on that side. I want to get in right when I hear the event. Well, we have a trade for that too. It's the sexy Gexy. So there's trades for every mentality of trading that I am doing. But it can seem very confusing on webinars if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You're like, wait, he said he was long, and then now he wants to be short, and what? I'm just going over these different trading strategies. So what I've been saying every day now, because there's just confusion, like guys that come in my room, they're like, I love what you're doing, but I can't. There's just too much. I can't do all these. It's not for you to do all of these. These are all in my brain, right? Doesn't mean you come in here and in a week you're looking at 20 different strategies. You pick the ones that work for you, that make sense to you, and then you master them, right? So the slug, that was what we missed here. I'm just giving you an example. Like, you can come into my room and say, okay, all I'm looking for to start is slugs. That's all I'm going to do. Right here, you had a nice winner right off the lug. You had the stop run. This is the trade I missed. I don't know if I mentioned that. And you had a nice winner. Again, it bounced right off of that area. So the point is, guys, when I'm going over these trading strategies, I'm just trying to cover as many as I can, and you pick and choose which ones make sense to you, and then you apply them. And these are the new ones. Sexy
Gold
Gexy.
Ice Iceberg Sell GC.
Tick,
150
tick,
for
tock.
contracts.
Something firing off in gold. I don't even know if I want to trade gold. It was all over the place. ECB, Lagarde, and I guess it's like their Powell was talking today, and there was huge relative volume. And here's another thing too, guys. If you are trading the sexy Gexy trade, yes, there are going to be dealers hedging at those areas, but I'm telling you, I've learned the hard way as I've developed this trade. If you're seeing heavy relative volume, I would not mess with the trade. I would not be taking auto entry trades, right? As you can see here, look at gold earlier. This is my other computer. I'm watching some other obscure products that the trading firm that I'm working with wants to see. Anyway, you do not want to be taking sexy Gexys when you see there's bigger players in here that are going to run right through the dealer's hedging. And you see it again. Say no to sexy Gexys when you see heavy relative volume. Alright, so these are my trades now. Yeah, these were those Russell's shorts I got out at the lug. I traded double size, so those were all nice trades. And then I got out of some MES and I put it back on. That's that puppy. And then this was that earlier, remember I told you I got took an Izzy long pre-market. So
Gold Ice Iceberg Sell GC, 163 contracts.
all right, I'm not going to mess with gold right now. Relative volume is really high and it's just all over the place, and we got enough. There's, traders always want to see crappy ES and NASDAQ, so we'll focus on those mainly. If it's dead, then we'll start looking at some other markets. Let's see what's going on with ES here. So this was a good example I put on. I added to it. I don't usually do it on price change, like I said, but I did it here because this is a tips and tricks webinar. I did put on more on this price change. I mean, I got out on this price change. I got out of a third, and I put it back on this price change. That's how you can do it. If you are actively trading the market. I don't usually do those because it's just too much. So I'm definitely going to watch. So some areas I'm going to be getting out of my traditional exits. And these are straight out of the trading in the zone document.
156 contracts.
I know I talk about this every webinar, guys, but there's new traders on here, so bear with me. I gotta take a breath anyway. I've been talking nonstop since I get on here. Can't find it, of course. There we go. So these are my areas where, one, I'll look for trades and or get out of some of the trade as the market makes money available to me. This is out of trading in the zone. I've added my own stuff, but it's exactly what he says. Pay yourself as the market makes money available. These are my areas. Low week levels, market profile composites, highest, lowest points and controls, VWAP, standard deviations, spot gamma levels. So there's a lot of stuff that I look at because that's one of the biggest problems traders face when they can get in trades, but then they're like, well, where the hell do I get out, right? So use my levels or use your own levels. But my point is, when things rolling in your favor, this is what's great about Bookmap 2. You can judge, hey, is it going to blow through here? Especially, that's why I use tick strike 2. If we come up to an area here, so say it comes up to this Gex level here while I'm long ES, and this thing's going apeshit, as Grandpa Chooch used to like to say, then I don't have to get out. Like if it just blows through there, but if it comes up here, this is quiet, I see some sell bubbles, I see a price change algo, I'm going to get out of some. Right? That's how you can use real-time information to help you judge at your areas. So another area I will watch. Let's see what we got. There's a retest, by the way. This was a back in black trade. Couldn't get to it. It's almost there now. Hopefully I don't jinx whoever took that. So this is back in black. This is playing for a reversion. I already talked about this a little bit. Back in black. Take the 1, 2, or 3 ATR entries after, we call them backdoor. That's why it's called back in black. After the market touches an important area and begins to move back through the given ATRs back to the SI volume event. Well, this tagged this area. Again, just another trade. If you like it, trade it. Right? The volume event was here, right at the lug. It was at stop run, or sell ice, or it was both. It was stop run and sell ice. It moved back here. It tagged this guy. Started coming back. You can take the 3, the 2, the 1 out at the volume event. So it hasn't got there yet. So again, I don't want to jinx my trade room, whoever put that on. So I stopped looking at it. So it goes back to the zone for you. All right, what else we got flat gold, gold, Russell. So what it's saying retested, it's talking about this prior one here. That's what it's counting. I do have another trade I could put on here if this bounces off of this after the retest. If it retests. Whoa, sorry. Wrong color too. So this is an I lug U. So it's an iceberg at the lug. If it was buy ice, meaning it's, buy ice at support, I could have taken this aggressively. If it's sell ice, I will still take it. Remember, I already missed the slug stop run. That's a different strategy. But if it's sell ice and it comes back, retest, and then comes back out, then I can take a I lug U. So I'm just going over different strategies. That's this guy. So I missed the slug, the stop run. That's the one I've been bitching about the entire webinar. And then the I
Prior
lug U.
HG short retested.
Right here. Iceberg at the lug. It's aggressive if it's in the direction of the lug, meaning buy ice at the blue lug support. Take any fade trade with an iceberg event of the major lug. If iceberg corresponds with the lug, sell ice at red lug, buy ice at blue lug, you can take it aggressively, meaning the first ATR out. I still don't enter those, even those trades I don't enter right in the zone. They're not an auto entry like Sexy Gexy. Otherwise, trade demands an ATR retest confirm for entry. So sell ice at blue lug, that's exactly what this is. So it comes back, retest, moves back out. This is where I go long. I don't enter right at those areas. None of my trades will I enter right in the zone except for Sexy Gexy and TikTok. What's TikTok? TikTok's just when you get a tick extreme, which we have not had today. NYSE tick extreme or NASDAQ tick extreme. The minute you hear the event, if it's corresponding, so sell stops or buy ice, you jump in the trade, like right in the zone. So that's for you, our traders. Other than that, I wait for them to move out of there. Let's see if you guys got any questions. Of course, this barks and licks. Yes, Core, I went over those. Those are trading strategies where you're just waiting for an ATR move out, a retest, and a confirm. Right? So that was, I can point out probably 10 of them today. Well, this one I did. This is the one I missed. Where's it at? This is the one I missed earlier this morning when I put on these other strategies, the failed balance breakout and everything else that I was talking about. This was a bark and lick as well. So all you're waiting for is the event. Then you want it to confirm. So this is why it's called ATR retest confirm. You wait for the ATR. That's that blue line on the zone drawer. I got to post my document too with everything I'm using. Here's your retest to the tick, as usual. Confirm, you go short. I already went short aggressively, but that's what a bark is. And a lick. A lick is just a bark, but you're trading for heavy resting liquidity in the order book. All right, let me post this real quick before I forget. So this is everything I'm using, guys, and it doesn't. There's another misconception. If you come in my room, oh, there's just too much. It's not cost effective for me to get all these things, the Lugwood levels and the Mentor Q and the spot gamma and the tick. You don't have to get them all. You do have to get Bookmap and the SI indicator because that's the core of my trading. This other stuff is just showing you what I use. If you don't want to use it, don't use it, right? So we'll go over these as usual. But let me post this in the room. Or if this is in, well, tick strike's driving me crazy, and I'm long. It's driving me crazy. Can we check out silver futures when you get a chance? Yes, I heard something in there. Let's see if we had any Sexy Gexies in there. So Mentor Q now. So I use both Spot Gamma and Mentor Q. Spot Gamma is incredible, real-time stuff. They, the levels on the chart, they don't have them for silver. This is why I use Mentor Q. Right, Mentor Q's got them for all these futures markets. So you can see, you'd be amazed at how they react at these levels. For any market, but especially like these more obscure, that don't have more obscure products that don't have a bunch of cross currents, right? So you had sell stops. This was a stop and hold. One of the 6 distinct setups. Let's go through this like I do every Bookmap webinar. Guys, and apologies if you're part of my room or you've been on multiple webinars. I know a lot of stuff is basic stuff that I talk about every time, but these are public webinars where there's new traders on here, so that's why I go over the basics. Anyway, let's see. I don't see there's a Sexy Gexy here. 897, 856. So when I'm talking about these So there's confusion too. Show this real quick. So when I'm talking about these setups like Stop and Hold or Dumb and Dumber or Titanic or Broken Ice, those are the volume events, right? That's what the zone drawer is drawing, and that's the first thing in that document I just posted, right? So you can get the zone drawer that will automatically draw these events for you. So when I talk about the setups, I'm talking about I have 6 distinct stop iceberg setups. But then what the strategies are looking for the setups in important areas. That's all I'm doing in my important areas. Again, you have your own, great. I will bet anything that you do better if you get confirmation with an SI event in those areas. So when I'm talking about these events throughout the webinar and I keep quoting, this thing's loading its way. This is the course. You can get it on my website or Bookmap Marketplace, right? And it goes through everything. The settings to set it up, the sub-chart settings, on-chart settings, sweeps indicator settings, how to draw the zones manually. This is before we had the zone drawer. Now it's a godsend. We have the zone drawer. Still important because you do have to learn how to adjust them in certain situations, things like that. And then here are the setups I'm talking about. Dumb and Dumber. It's when you get a move into the. That was this guy in Russell, right? The dumb money puke into an important area. This was the slug, right? That I missed. I don't know if I mentioned that. Stop, run into that Ludwig level. Boom. You had sell ice too, but this was a broken ice event, right? Sell ice came in and they were wrong. Paper's not, the big money's not always right. They're right more often than they're wrong, but we have a trade for that. Broken ice. So when I'm talking about these setups, it's these setups, then the strategies are these setups in important areas. That's all I'm doing. And what is that? Well, we're just looking for concentrated volume, guys. Traders are loaded up, and then we're taking advantage of the move out of there. That's all I'm doing. Volume drives markets. Volume drives price. That's what drives markets. I don't care what line you have on a chart. It doesn't mean diddly unless you get some volume at the area. Like, that's what moves markets. Like, there's just such a ridiculous misconception. I cannot believe.
To sell $13 billion.
I was just talking to somebody the other day. All the trading educators out there that don't look at any volume. It's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm not saying you can't.
In 6
yeah, areas hold, but they hold because of volume. Like, it just makes no sense to me.
$81 billion, 3-month bills, December 16th to settle on the 19th.
All right, what's going on here? Just price change algo running the show as usual. So nothing's going on, right? So 80% of the time, nothing's going on. Every time this thing spikes, remember we added to that. You had another one here, pulled back, another one there, pulled back. Again, you don't know how. This is why if you're going to trade this, actually trade it. Sometimes it price changes for 5 points. Other times price change for a point. I don't know what the extent of the move is, but the point is it does react. So it's an incredible thing to have, just to know, if, like I keep saying, tell my trade room too, just to keep your sanity, right? If you're looking at this and you're in a trade like I'm in, I'm not losing my mind every time it does. I just look over, I'm like, oh yeah, the price change algo's firing off. All right, these I was just going to use a bad word there.
By GC, 191 contracts.
Awesome gentlemen, algos that program these algos are, a lot of them, not all algos are price change, but you can see it definitely has an effect on the market. I could show you any market, they all look the same. Just be careful. Again, if big money comes in, it could price change for a lot of points. All right, let's see what else we got here.
According to ECB sources, policymakers have little appetite for rushing policy amid uncertainty. A handful of policymakers were initially in favor of 50
between gold
basis
movement
points
and the
cut.
Nasdaq?
And some argued that the ECB is overestimating
There's
growth,
a way you can
which
have
could be
the,
below 1%
synthetic,
next year under
this
Trump's
is why we need
tariffs.
Bruce on here. There's a way you can overlay the synthetic gold over Nasdaq. I haven't seen any solid correlation that's tradable. Not to say there's not, but I haven't seen it. So I would say no for that. You don't need correlation, right? I mean, I guess there's correlation traders, and you can have the synthetic where you overlap them. I don't know how to do this. Hopefully, if either Bruce or Dan knows, they can hop on here and talk about it. But I don't need that, right? Yes, there's a million different trading strategies. For what I do, I try to keep it as simple as possible. I know this looks like it's not, like even looking at the chart, you're like, well, what the hell is all over this chart? when you understand what this is, it's very simplistic, right? All it is a zone drawer. These lines are ATR lines and then the reversion lines. And then then you can see the heat map, and that's liquidity playing games like they are right now, and or heavy rested liquidity. Liquidity are just orders in the order book. And then I have my mentor Q levels and the spot gamma levels. That's all I'm looking at here. There's nothing, it's not complicated when you know what you're looking at, right? Even this stuff. Yeah, a newbie looks at this, their head will probably fly off. But once you understand it, it's nothing that technical, right? All right, this is still long ES. I missed my long, and I did jinx the room if they took the back in black here. Never made it back to the zone yet. So sorry about that, guys. I put my eyes on it, put my lips on it, as we say in golf. I have a guy we golf with. Every time he says, nice putt, or that putt's going in, every single time the putt doesn't go in. So we always tell him, don't put your lips on my ball. So sorry I put my lips on Russell there. All right, no other questions in there. Oh, anyway, you wanted to look at silver. So yeah, you had, I don't see a GEX level here.
And Q long validated.
So, with these mentor Q levels, I just did the webinar the other day. Like I said, you can put them on TradingView
Stop
too.
filled.
What was that? Hold on. I guess I forgot to take something out of the order book. Oh, you know what that is? I forgot to. Remember, I put on that
Order
60
filled.
GXC. Of course, it was an instant loser. I put the stop in, and I forgot to cancel my stop. That was real money too. That's not cool. That was only $50, but I don't want to throw away money for any reason. All right, so anyway, what I was telling you guys, if having the levels on Bookmap are too much, and this is why I use Mentor Q too, because you can get these levels, so you can get them. You got to get the price lines algo add-on in the Bookmap marketplace to get them on Bookmap, like you see here. Like here's the X4, so on and so forth. Other than that, you can get them on for TradingView, Ninja Trader, and then you just got to go to the bot. So I'll show you this here quickly since nothing's happening right now. So you go over here, Mentor Q, right? So if I want silver,
HG long
I put in the
validated.
command, the backslash, and then list, TV list. So this is where you can list them. I want SIH 2025. Actually, that might be, what is it? They've got different symbols. Yeah. Actually, this is on Z. You don't want Z. I don't use this lead very often either. I forgot how to even change this damn thing. Let's go over here. See, it's not changing on its own. So let me change this. Come on. This is the front month. Alright, so there you go. So we're on the front month, then you come in the bot, put that in. There you go. Copy that. Come back to TradingView or whatever one you're using. Click on indicators, click on levels, with the Q levels. Why is that not doing anything? There we go. Paste it in there. And there you go. Right? So if it's too much for you to have on Bookmap, bring them in another software program. So the other thing too, if you see this, we saw this yesterday in NASDAQ, it just blew through all levels. If the market's blowing through levels without any kind of reaction, that's telling you something thesis-wise as far as, where the market's likely headed for that day type of thing, right? So this nothing really happened here. So that may be coming on here. And then when you use this information, like with your structure stuff, right,
Prior
like,
GC long validated.
you can have some incredible thesis trades, meaning when I say thesis, I mean I guess. But when you get, so if I got a short event here, so knowing that it just blew through this level here, and if this event, doesn't mean I just hop in a short, but if this event that I'm showing you in silver turns bearish, then I'm like, okay, and say I get a bark in the lick or whatever, I'm like, okay, I'm going to trade that double size because I know it just blew through that level, and that's the same level right here, right? So it's a way to come up with a thesis and trade bigger in the direction. I'm a day trader, I trade both things. So let's see if there's a long event here. Because someone asked about this. This is why I know there's not a ton of silver traders, but it moves, it reacts to these areas just like any other market. And here we are. This is an Izzy. Potential Izzy long. These are the best Izzies too. Inflection zones. That's what I draw every day for my trade room, and you can get it at the. You can get them here too. If you can't get in the room, if you get them, come in the room, you get them for free. If not, you can get them here. This one here, scalpelcitytrader.org. You can get the spreadsheet. This is what the zone drawer is, but you can have the spreadsheet, or you can get the Izzy zones, or both. That's if you can't make it in the room. If you come in the room, you get all this stuff for free. Anyway, this is the Izzy zone with the volume of, aka my important area with a volume event. That's one trade I could put on there. You're going to make me trade silver, I guess, because I'm not going to pass up an opportunity. Let's see what else we got. I guarantee my levels, these aren't current, but I'm going to make them current. Merge all three of these. This is a market profile composite. Come on. Yep. So this is a pick too. So again, my important area. Got to refresh the lugs. What's going on with these things? There we go. Oh, what do you know? And it was a slug. Hey, another missed trade.
SI short
I can't bitch about this one. I don't watch silver as closely as the other ones just because I have so much else. But there you go. Stop run into the lug, guys. Stop run into the pick. Stop run into the Izzy. Like, this is what I look for, right there. There you go. So technically, I could be entering these right now because this is just moving out. This is those are not auto trade entries, so I actually can go long all these right now if I want, because this is my official entry point. This yellow line, and all the yellow line is 1 ATR and 15% outside of the zone. What I'm not going to do here though is I'm not going to enter in a prior event. So if I'm going to take these longs, slug, pick, Izzy, I'm going to force it to get out of here. Get it through this guy, right? And the best way is just to hover over this yellow 10% ATR line here. Look in the bottom left there, 77.5. So I'll get into like 78, 31.78. So let's put those on since you made me look at silver. I can't pass up on it. So based on my risk level, I can only put on 0.4. So they do have micros, I believe. You can't trade them on Apex for some reason. I don't know why. We'll get an Apex as well, but so I'll just put on a full contract here. But I'm trading double size, so it's gonna suck if it loses. But you can trade micros. Otherwise, 31.78. Slug, pick, Izzy, silver, long. Sounds like my ES trade's doing well. I haven't looked at it. Tick strike's going ape shit. Pardon my language. 31.78. Is that what you wanted to see there, TRS? Hold on, I'm not even on the right. I gotta change my. I'm not even on the right product month. All right, 31.78 is where I'll take those longs. Second here, guys. Sorry. Izzy, 31.78. Slug. And pick. Alright, those are all working. So, and if this loses, these are losers. TRS, I think that's an asset. Then you are in the doghouse for making me trade that today. Just kidding. This is the point, though. Nothing's going on. You hear something fire off in another market, go over there. There's opportunity everywhere. And it's all the same stuff. All right, so we got to this blind spot level. Remember, I put this back on. There was a price change here. It did react. So I would have got us some there, but it's kind of hanging here right now anyway. We have not got a volume pressure balance for me to. So I'm going to hop out of these same three. So I'm scalping around my long that I put on earlier. All right, so I'm out of those three again. Why? Well, this is an important area. Right? It's again, you got to figure out what he has blind spot or the blind spots and then the GEX levels. I have them all on here right now, but as I watch this more with these levels on here, I may not have blind spots 6 through 10 or the GEX levels 6 through 10. So there, what I'm talking about here is, so he ranks these GEX levels.
Net gas ice iceberg sell NG 150
Got natural gas
contracts.
event too. Again, nothing's going on, so we can trade other markets. You go over here and you hit GEX /GEX. In the ticker, right? So what was I just looking at? Or ES. So we'll go ES 1. So this is what we're looking at, right? These GEX levels on here. So he ranks them in order of importance by the amount of gamma that dealers have to hedge, right? So when you get GEX 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, they'll show, but they're less gamma. So the market might not react as strong as like GEX 1, 2, or these other, like Jordan, who introduced me. He's a trader in my trader who's been in there since day one. He introduced me to Mentor Q. He doesn't even have all he trades off is like to put support. He told me yesterday again. He did a webinar for the room the other day too with that 0 day to expiration stuff. So I have them all on right now, but this is a trade in progress. But I wanted to introduce it and start trading it because I watched it work ridiculously often. So anyway, I got a 1 here, or I'm sorry, the 3. So what we did here is we went long earlier. What was that, the Izzy? And then I got out of some on the price change.
CS short retested.
And then when I saw an opposing price change, I put it back on. And then I got out of some more up here. There was another price change, but I missed that one. But it's just hovering around here. So I got out of this 3. I still have 6 on. This is called scalping around your position. All right, there's stuff in ZS, stuff in natural gas. So let's. I know there's eye rolls like always. I don't trade natural gas. I don't trade soybeans. It doesn't matter. This could be NASDAQ, ES, doesn't matter. It's the same patterns. As long as you know the volume event threshold, or you know the threshold for that product, meaning a tradable amount, it doesn't matter what market you're talking about. Here was a nice reversion trade. You got sell ice. This is into the number, so I don't know if you want to trade right into the number, but it did tag the 2 ATR back to the zone. You're out. That's the reversion trade. It was probably a back in black too. But
Fed bids for 4-week bills total $272.3 million.
This is a potential Izzy. Let's see. So the market moved out of this inflection zone. This one here was sitting in here, but moved out, came back in. You do have sell ice, but if this breaks, aka broken ice event, then I can go long here aggressively. So I'll put a Izzy trade on long. If this turns out to be bullish, again, I don't do anything until it can push the ATR out. That is the best method that I have seen from trading so many of these to get in these trades where you're not, we only have 2 strategies where you jump in right when it's where you hear the event, like I've been talking about the entire webinar. Trying to find algo guy here. So algo guy is bullish too. It's barely, it's hanging in there. It's been bullish, and these are kind of overlapping, so you may want to pass on Barks and Licks if you don't like it, but I'm going to take the long here. And let's see what else we got. So this is the other thing too, if you're using the Ludwig levels, there's trades that I will skip because I don't want to be taking trades into, like for instance, I just said I was going to go long here.
15 contracts.
Do I really want to go long into the lug? Well, this is where you can use your thesis overall, right? So, one, this is Pamela Ludwig's favorite trade. When I did the webinar with her, I may have changed. This was 3 years ago. I did the webinar with her, but she loves when the market moves above these lugs and don't form new ones, and that they don't have the conditions, and it moves back below. Then it usually leads to that. So that's telling me I don't know if I want to go long into that. Then the other thing, thesis-wise, one, it's sell ice, so someone's selling it. The thesis, it looks bullish, but, right, because it broke out of this guy today, into the number, right there. But you don't want to be, see where it failed? Right at the high volume. Note that
SI
guy.
long validated.
That's not bullish. These selling tails. We saw this in NASDAQ the other day. I talked about it in my room. We actually took a short after this happened, but I'll show you that here in a second. You know, this activity breakout of here trumps that for right now. But you don't want to see tails. Tails are instant rejection. So, you know, I'm not going to take this easy long just because you're fighting this guy. You have a selling tail, and you know I'm going to be taking it into the lug. If we get new lugs, then I'll change my story. And you're fighting a market profile composite. So there's a lot of cross currents here. I'm not going to put this long on. So that's, you know, once you get advanced, that's what you do. If you're new, you just put them on and you just let the odds play out, but percentages play out. But you know, I can use a little more judgment because of my experience. So this was what I was talking about the other day. This was telling us something before the ridiculous bungee jump that occurred yesterday. This was this day. And I said, this is breaking out of this balance. And I'm like, why is it putting in selling tail? Why are we getting instant rejection? It did that one, came up, made another one, and I'm like, okay, I went short this, right? So, and I did double size once it broke down through here, and this was a great trade. The point is, you can glean information. This looks exactly like natural gas does right now, right? It broke out of balance, failed at the prior balance, selling tail. You shouldn't be seeing those if the market's bullish. What you should be seeing is something like that nonsense from yesterday. So it's just a thesis. It's just a guess. It doesn't mean natural gas can't get back above those tails, but currently that's not what you want to see.
NG long validated.
You know, if you're long. So that long validated, I'm not taking it. But if it gets back above this tail and breaks this guy, then what I would do, I'm going to be trading double size longs, right? We'll get new lugs. It will show it can get through that. It'll show it get through its tail. So you see what I'm doing here? All I'm doing is coming up with a guess based on structure stuff. Then I wait for real events, and I'll trade bigger. And right here, I'm not, because it still hasn't gotten through the tail or the high volume node or the Izzy zone. Right above that Izzy zone, I would trade double size longs. So hopefully that makes sense.
Hey, Scott, it's Bruce.
Hey, there he is.
Hey, I'm so sorry to come in at the tail end of your webinar.
That's all right. There was a question. Somebody asked me the correlation, if there's a correlation
It's
between gold and
11:30 a.m.
NASDAQ.
Eastern Time. The US sells
And I said
$80
I haven't seen one, but how do you
bills.
set up this
Prior high
synthetic
yield for
where you
spot
like
4%
overlay them or
private
whatever?
cover of 2
You
spots.
told me about it a while ago. I just,
Just
never did.
the correlation tracker?
Yeah.
Sure. So just go up to your add-ons. Yeah. And then you should see it in there, correlation tracker, but you may not. There it is.
If this
Okay.
crashes my
NG long
computer
validated.
or my Bookmap, I'm gonna have some issues with you. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm praying over here.
All right. So now what? Add.
Okay, and then do you have gold open?
Yeah. This is gold.
Okay. So then where do you want to see? You want to see the correlation with the Nasdaq or
Yeah.
S&P?
This trader asked if there was, so we'll break it up for now. I can take it
Okay.
back
So
off,
then just
right? So,
click add,
all right.
CS short
and then you'll select your instrument. And that should do it. You get the color, and it'll pop up. It just is loading at the moment.
All right, so first of all, I'll take off this liquidity. Let me take off some of these lines so we can see, just because there's just so much on this chart. Again, it's not that technical, but that's another great thing, guys. You can take this stuff with the zone drawer. You can take these lines off if you don't want to trade the reversion trades, or you don't want to see the ATR or the entry or whatever. You can take off everything you want, anything you want.
So,
this is
zoom
it up
vertical.
here?
There it is, up there. Yeah, that blue line. Yeah, that's it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I mean, and it always starts, from the point of zoom on the left side. So wherever if you zoom in, like the whole thing's going to recalculate, right? I mean, that's the way, typically a correlation works. Like it's a 0 point on the left side of the right there.
Okay.
So it'll change back and forth, but that's it.
So SAS VRL, are you watching this? There's your answer to your question. You can just put the market on there, and then you can tell for yourself if it's correlated.
This is such a weird correlation in the last, I don't actually several years. Like it was the flight to safety,
Right. Then it moved
know,
with it, and then right.
and now it's going down, and the Nasdaq's going up. What?
Right.
Hey, you know, a lot of people are invested heavily in gold and speculating heavily. It wasn't used as flight to safety. So that I think that's there's a lot of reasons, but that's the big reason, I think.
Right. Okay, cool. So there you go, Saz, or anyone else wants the correlation if you want some more stuff on your chart. So before you got in here, I was showing, this is supposed to be a tips and tricks webinar for the SI or the
icebergs and
the MBO package.
Or MBO package, whatever you use.
Right. So again, guys, you got it. This is the core of my trading. So when I show this stuff, again, it doesn't mean you need to get all of it. It's just stuff that I use. But if you're going to follow what I'm doing and you want the best edge in the history of the planet of futures trading, then you want to get, Bookmap. And this is This is a discounted Bookmap, and then you need the MBO bundle, right? So you come over here, and it has all this stuff that we've been talking about. It has Stops, Icebergs, sub chart, on chart, liquidity tracker. I haven't brought that up today. Trader Map Pro. We'll do that next week. I didn't get it set up for today. Market Pulse. This is what we're talking about, the different algorithms, right? So today, what I was showing them was how I was scalping around this. I'm long off of this buy ice event. I was long off of one of my trading strategies, and I said, you can. We were looking for a volume pressure imbalance, add or subtract, but I said you could trade around your position with these market pulse. The market pulse price change. So it came up here, and it was pretty close to this Method Q level. So I got out of a third, and then I waited for an opposing one, and I put it back on. Right. So this is a perfect example of trading around your position. Just with the price change algo. I don't usually do that off price change. I will do it off the volume pressure imbalance, and we did show this as well. Earlier there was heavy selling in here. And they got away with it there, and then they ran a new 1300 buy ice, most selling in the last hour, 93% of the most selling in the last hour, and instantly wrong, and puke them out. So just a great example of knowing real time.
At 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, the US sells $80 billion in
market
4
pulse,
week bills,
aggressive selling,
high yield for spot.
And again, the bubbles will display this too. These are market bubbles, right? But I don't know if this particular bubble is the most selling in the last hour. This tells you, right? And then we talked about these algos that love to do the price change game. So that's what we've been covering here.
Yeah, that's great, Scott. Not only is it like kind of a signal for, or used as a confluence for your entry and exit, but also your trade management. Maybe you got kind of a partial signal, or a part of your setup. A good part of your setup is displaying on the chart, but not all of it. So maybe and you're already in a position. It's a good time to consider some management, maybe.
Right. Well, especially in an important area, right? So that's what I did. So I got out of some, I got back in, and then I got out of some again because I saw the price change at the
SI long retested.
Beautiful.
Prior
So,
TC long.
again,
retested.
I don't do this very often because I'm just too old for the in and out. But for those traders that love to stare at one market, again, I think you're doing yourself a disservice with all this incredible stop iceberg information. You should be opening up your horizons to other products. But if you're staring at one, then yeah, you can be like in and out, in and out, in and out, and just scalp around your position with these algos. And these are just two of the algos. There's these other ones I haven't even scratched the surface on. Again, I was explaining to them how I requested something Market Pulse. They built Market Pulse for me originally, but it was never any of these. You didn't have all these different things that they have now. Where are they there? All these different algos.
Yeah, we
just
we
took
kind
it
of
and
went
ran
off the
with
deep
it,
end.
right?
Yeah, we went off the deep end here. We took your idea and it was like, hey, we can do this, we can do that,
It's
and
awesome.
then it developed into its own thing.
Right, so you have all these different things that I haven't even scratched the surface on. So my main ones are price change and volume pressure imbalance. Right, again, I'm looking at a lot of stuff, but it's not complicated, guys. All you're doing is, so I had a question. I did the Method Q webinar with them the other day, and they said one of the questions is, how do you deal with the algos? It's like, if you don't understand what's going on in here, yeah, you lose your noggin. It's like I can't compete with these. I'm going to go find another profession. If you have this stuff, at least you can understand what the hell they're trading off of, right? It's night and day as far as understanding the markets. Even if you're not, I just explained this earlier, even if you're not trading this, at least you can, if you're like, I'm in this long, if I'm in this long and I don't have this information, I'm just like, what the hell? Why? Well, that's why. Because nothing's happening in here right now. There's no relative volume coming through, meaning big money's not playing. Now the algos start whipsawing traders to death. Right there. So you can at least keep your sanity by having this up.
Yeah, I mean, Scott, I wasn't kidding. I mean, partially maybe, but like, I mean, you're kind of turning into like a quant-like type of trader here. Really, I mean, like you're looking at all these things that, like, compile your setups, and this is totally different than looking at like old candlestick charts and like, patterns or. I mean, I know you're using volume profile in your higher time frame, but that's where it ends, really.
Right. And then lastly, another thing that someone just said in the room, the Trader Map Pro is available, and so this is the way you can filter out the algos. So how I don't see that big of a difference between these and this. How do I filter that? So this is the normal one. This is the one you guys had me bring up the other day. So how do you filter it? This looks the same to me. You know what I mean? As far as the,
I think you're gonna have to maybe make the. I don't know. I wouldn't do it now at the end of your webinar because you got so many markets open. But you'll have to play with the filtering a little bit. You can make it more stark. So hit the pause button there. So there's the pause. So open that again.
Okay.
Okay, and then just click. You'll give your feedback later or whatever.
I don't want to give feedback.
And then click on the pause button there. Okay. Now go back to it again. No. Go back to your there add-ons, and then now you have the slider below there, and then bring it up about half. No, bring it up more to the top, not all the way. Not all the way. Yeah, right around there. Yeah, try that, and then hit play.
Uh-oh, this is gonna freeze.
Okay, now it probably won't, but like now close this, and then it pops it open into kind of a new to the right hand side. Now that's not the chart. There it is. There you go. Okay, it should. I mean, it'll populate here. There's a lot of number crunching going on here.
Right, well, I'm looking at 91 million events here. So.
Yeah.
All right, so that's how
it's amazing. It's this market by order data. Like we had webinars earlier in the week about just trying to define what it is and what you're getting. It's a lot more detailed than market by price data, and then it allows you to, look at all these other things like stops, icebergs. All these different transactions.
Right. All right, so this is where, because I have so many products up, this is where this actually cost me a trade the other day when I brought this damn thing up when we were on the webinar. It cost me a huge short, so you owe me. You owe me like $2,000, just so you know. You can write me a check if you want. Anyway, this is what happened the other day.
How about, would you settle for a couple of beers instead?
Yeah, that's fine too.
Okay, I'll take that.
But I mean, this is happening because I'm watching 20 markets and I have basically all these algos on all these markets. So you're going to have issues like this if you were watching as many things as I am.
Yeah, you can see in the lower right the red lines up and down.
Yeah, right here.
It's just you just maxed out your
only 100%.
CPU. Yeah,
utilization is only 100%.
All right, sorry about that.
That's all right. I was going to show because this event did retest, so there's potential trades on that. But while this is frozen, I got to hop off here. But guys, this is, I put this in the room, so everything I'm using. We haven't had a chance to go through all this like I usually do, but the main thing is too. So this is a drawing tool. Here's the cores.
4.24% bid to cover ratio 3.
This is all the stuff I use, right? So here's my website, email. If you want to join the trade room, I do this twice a day, every day, most days anyway. And then here's the Bookmap stuff to get. We didn't go over Apex. This is a great way. I use that code. This is a great way to practice. You know, when you get in there, not a game, practice, as Allen Iverson used to say. Great way to practice what you're doing before you're risking real money, right? So, and if you do well, then you're funded anyway. So Apex is the one that I put my name behind. Been using them for almost 3 years now, and they've done everything they say they're going to do. Payouts. There's plenty of guys in my room, guys and girls that have been paid by them. I've been paid by them multiple times. But it's a great way to, you know, work on your trading without risking your, you know, life funds, and you will trade a whole different way if you're risking your own money versus having someone backing you. That's why it's just like having your own private trading firm. Anyway, this was a retest here. If this moves back out, Algo Guy is bullish. I would take Barks and Licks off of this event. The stop on this would be a stop and hold, and you can see this area. These were gamma levels that blew through. You could have taken a sexy Gexy. This is a variation. When it comes back, you could put that on, but I did not put that on right now because we're on these webinars. And then here's the Mentor Q stuff. All this stuff's on my website too. So if you go to my website, you can get access to all this stuff. There's all these banners, and then you get discounts to almost everything on there. Hold on, sorry. And then I got to hop off because there's another guy coming on. So right here, all this stuff. Bookmap discount, Mentor Q discount, Apex discount, Spot Gamma discount, Tick Strike discount, Traders thing. So next time we'll start. I'm going to start using the journal too, and then we can go over that too in the future. I just haven't had a chance to do the journal, the Bookmap journal stuff.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right, so you know, decent webinar. I mean, it's been pretty dead, but we took the CS long, and I did talk about this. We missed this trade. Hopefully someone got in this. I was talking about it and I just forgot to put the damn order in, but this was a great long. And then I caught this short at the start of the morning, so that was good too off of this sell ice event. So guys, I keep telling you, I don't care how great of a trader you are, you will be better if you have this information. If you're not using this information, you just don't have all the information. It doesn't mean you can't potentially make money trading. It's just you just don't have all the information, so you're trading blind in a lot of instances. So that's all I've ever said for the last 8 years on these webinars. So hopefully you start to listen. That's all I got. So we got next Thursday. There's no holiday yet, right? What's the date? Yeah, we're good for next Thursday, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, that's it. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit. We showed the correlation thing too. I didn't even know how to do that, but that's kind of cool. So you can start watching that stuff. And that's it. I do this every day in my trade room, so come on by.